ostensibly on his way out of that league. He's actually right smack in it, like, you know, your Pep Guardiolas and people like that. I mean, to be honest, when it was rumored that we might get him, I think my Twitter comment was WALOB, you know, because no way did I think we'd get him. You know, now we have.
Yeah. The thing is,
to be honest, I was of a similar mindset, which is why my take on Andy's theory was always that we were going back for Poch and that, you know, Nuno was a placeholder for him, because I just thought that was the only likely resolution to that.
Yeah.
But, you know,
No, definitely. Do you not think, though, that Spurs are the only club that could actually break Conte? Do you think?
Oh, yeah.
By February, can you just see him gibbering in the corner?
And Spurs are the only club that could break any human being on earth. I think they've broken us. So, you know.
Yeah, exactly. I don't even know what the hell I'm doing. Yeah, exactly. But it's an intriguing thing, isn't it? But going back to the 400 million, of course, when you buy players, they're always amortized. So, you know, their cost is spread out equally over the lifetime of the contract. So to spend 400 million, it'd be really hard to do that, because, you know, even if you buy a 100 million pound player, that's 20 million over per year over 5 years. So, I think obviously we have the money, we have the means of spending the money, and quite frankly, I don't care whether we have or not. He needs to go and find it, because
am I being naive and thinking that this actually is the time where they will do this? They will make good on that promise, because they said that's what this was all about. I mean, possibly I'm being naive, but I really do think that this is the pivotal moment for this club and for this chairman now.
Well, I think that bringing Paratici in is the only thing that will make them do that. And the reason being is that he'll make them aware that if they want to get to B, or if they want to get to A, they're going to have to do certain things. And I don't think Levy knows how to run a football club. He knows how to run the infrastructure, but he doesn't understand football. So he doesn't really understand how we got to the Champions League final. I don't think Poch did either. That was all a big surprise. But
well, that was really massively overachieving, because at that point the cycle looked like it was almost over. So the fact that they got there was a miracle.
Yeah.
But
because we were shit that season.
Oh god, yeah, we were. Yeah. But this is the point. You know, if Paratici was in charge at that point, we probably would have struck while the iron was hot and recruited in the right way. But we didn't. It slid. But what's pleasing to see is that I know it's the proof is in the pudding, right? But at the moment, it looks like he is taking that back seat and letting the football people like Paratici take the lead on this. It seems that way.
It does.
I think my own. Sorry, Andy. I was going to say my only worry about this is, you know, this project at this point. You'd have to really believe in what they're selling to come now, wouldn't you? Because, you know, we're not that far off the top four, but at the moment we're playing Conference League football. You know, that in the Premier League in any given year, it's a really big ask to get into the top four, let alone if you look at our squad, no disrespect. You know, I do think we're probably one of the weakest in that pack of, say, 7. So if we were to get top 4 now, it would be a massive overachievement, a very, very big overachievement. And that's the only thing, is the players we need to be up there, are they going to buy into the project? And I almost feel like once you get one to buy in, you might get 2, 3, 4 to follow. But if you can't get that one player to buy in,
if they can't under him, then we're in trouble, Sarah. Because
I
with
just
this
don't think it will happen in January.
Yeah, I mean, I personally think it. You know, we will, but the players will buy in if we can get, you know, that level of fitness up and that level of commitment to what we're doing up, and then get a couple of players in January. I mean, top 4 is on. I think it is very much on, because Man U are well on the slide.
Yeah, sorry, Rich.
I still think it's an overachievement. Sorry.
Oh yeah,
Rick.
Yeah, I mean, I think I sort of agree with a lot of this from both sides, actually. I mean, And there's a delicate balance to be struck mid-season with the idea of signing 3 or 4 big players as well, if it's possible in January. But the one thing that I just wanted to flag up as possibly a factor in our favour in all this is that some of these big Spanish and Italian clubs that have got some of these players we might be after are in quite significant financial trouble at the moment. And players get sold by clubs. It's that's how it goes, isn't it? I mean, you've seen obviously some players will push for a move and want to go somewhere, naming no names, but other players are moved on for the good of the club, and you've seen that repeatedly over the years. And I wonder whether or not that might be the thing that actually facilitates this. Maybe that first player that will then encourage somebody else to come. I mean, I'm being eternally optimistic, and
yes, you are, but I'm happy with that delusion. I mean, that works for me as well.
It's a long-term delusion.
It is a long-term, and let's face it. Let's stick by it. But I agree. I think also, I suppose in a way, it's all kind of lined up in a way, because you've got Paratici and Conte, who are, they know the Italian football ecosystem. And as you say, Rich, in Serie A, the clubs are mostly broke. So maybe they're going to go and raid them. Maybe they're looking to do some deals there, maybe spend a bit of money, but also, get some deals that they think are worth getting in January for next season. We can see how that works.
It'd be nice for them to also try a different strategy than just raiding the French league and hoping it will work out, because we've seen repeatedly over the last 6 years that's been their we'll just nip over the channel and pinch one, and it's not really worked, has it?
No,
Hitchen's got his book out and gone and turned to N in the in the book. Hang on. Chance.
Yeah, and that is another question that I have, is why is Hitchen still there? Because we have made some really bad recruitment choices, and surely he's been in the middle of all that. I just wonder how he's got away with it, or maybe it isn't him who's been doing this. Maybe someone else has been doing it. But if that's the case, what is he doing?
What is he doing?
Yeah. So it's all a bit of a mystery at Spurs. Nothing ever seems to be logical, but maybe they're starting to become a bit more logical, fall into place a little bit more.
So who are going to be the winners and losers in this? Who do you think is going to flourish and who's going to be shown the door?
Player-wise?
The $64,000 question.
I wonder if Lucas Moura gets put out on his ear, actually.
Oh.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, I don't really want that to happen either, because I really like his endeavour.
Yeah, exactly. He's someone who's tried, no matter who's been in charge, no matter the shit going on around him.
Yeah,
he's always put in 110%. And that's the same reason we liked Michael Dawson. Those players that are just blood and thunder and really playing for the shirt. And it'd be interesting to see what happens there, because he's sort of that endeavour, as you said, is actually what Conte wants, but whether the end product is enough is a totally different question.
I think I suspect it won't just come down to endeavour. Obviously, it will come down to also it does he fit in the system, and also has he got the requisite amount of talent? Because I don't think there's any room for sentiment under him at all.
No, I agree, and there shouldn't really be. It's why should there be sentiment? It's not what it's about, is it? But
I do wonder about more possibly getting a stay of execution while the squad is a little bit more threadbare in that context, because not only does he have the industry and the application and the attitude, but in terms of potentially a long season, I mean, I don't know how many thousand games we've got to play in the Vanarama Conference or whatever it's called. But, somewhere after Christmas, in that sort of early early New Year period where legs are getting a bit heavy, Lucas Moura can be a bit more versatile when called upon, and he doesn't just offer one thing. I mean, I'd think somebody like Steven Bergwijn might be, more at risk because he just goes in a straight line up and down. Whereas Moura for all of his limitations on that final product, you can, if needed, you can throw him in anywhere and know that he'll injure people if at least he doesn't do a particularly pretty job.
That's right. Yeah.
I think there's going to be a few. Yeah. Sorry, Andy. I was going to say, I think there'd be a few surprises. I think there'll be some that go out the door that we didn't expect. Maybe like a Mora, but also there might well be under whatever system we want to play. There could well be some players that we thought were done and dusted could have a renaissance. But
do you mean like Delhi or
Winks?
Winks?
Maybe like Delhi or Winks? But I don't know. I mean, we all suspect. I suppose they probably will be shown the door. They're not. They've done their time at the club, but
problem is we have to replace them with Englishmen.
Yeah,
really, don't we?
Yeah.
I think
that
that's
is a problem. Yeah,
that is the problem. And if we don't replace them with Englishmen, then they won't be going anywhere because you need to fulfil your quota. That's why I think our next number one will be English.
Well, yeah, I mean, the thing is with that, Sarah, is that it's not so much you got to fulfil the quota; is that you'd be brain dead not to, because you can have 17 overseas players, but then that's your squad, so you have to make it up afterwards with the English
academy
players, so with other English players. So there's no rule that you can, you have to have a certain amount of English players, but then you can't fill your actual, squad up because you've got a 17 cap on those. So it obviously brain dead not to do that, because you need, if you're getting rid of those homegrown players, but they have to be of the the required quality. And it is Winks now. Is Daly just too one-dimensional? I don't know. It's.
I think the thing is, you have to look at Conte's history as well. If at Chelsea, he had Victor Moses, didn't he? And Victor Moses didn't do anything anywhere else, but at Chelsea, he won the Premier League.
Well, that's it.
As a wing-back, and he was a winger. So. Is that all down to the brilliance of Conte, or is that just a stroke of luck? So maybe we'll see players start excelling in areas that we just didn't really expect.
So what about Ndombele? Is he going to be that person, or is he going to leave because he's got no ketchup, chocolate, and mayonnaise?
Well, yeah, I think. Yeah, I don't know. Because he is an enigma, isn't he?
He is, but there were talk that that Conte desperately wanted him while he was at Inter.
Yeah, I mean, I heard that.
Yeah. So and you've seen the shots right on Twitter with him giving him handshakes, and everyone smiles all around him. So they obviously either this is some word from Levy, or this is something that they've identified as a player who has got incredible potential that they must get the best out of. Who knows? But I suppose
what do you think of Tanguy, Rich? Because he just makes my head ache. I can't work him out.
Yeah, I mean, certainly the more I see him, the more confusing he gets. And I sort of distinctly remember watching him at the Villa game at Spurs and thinking, where the hell is he supposed to be playing? Because he seemed to spend most of that game playing as an extra centre half. But I don't know. I mean, obviously we've all seen the clips and we've all seen that he's got the talent, and we've seen it in very small glimpses in our colours. But I think he might surprise us. I think. I wonder whether or not because of course he was bought right at the tail end of the Pochettino project, and perhaps the role that he thought he was going to be able to get, i.e., this sort of nominal replacement for Eriksen, whether it's direct or in another area of the field, that suddenly evaporated into thin air, and maybe what we're seeing is the net result of nobody that has been there subsequently really knowing what to do with him at all. Whereas, this might be the point at which they say, right, you know, of course, there's going to be pressure from the club as well. Look, this is our record signing. We can't sell him to Stoke for £1 million in the summer. You know, we've got to do something with this guy.
Yeah.
You know, and that in itself will give him an opportunity to at least demonstrate